Hiya there, boys and girls, lords, ladies and gentlemen, and all the rest of you peculiar creatures out there. It's the great and glorious Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time. Big thank you to all those people who've already committed to buy the new book which I have just written. It's just, it outlines trans days and what I mean by it. It goes into a bit more detail about tarot reading itself. Okay, I've got a few more short books to write, again to the point, trying to keep the argument focused. I've got to do one on spiritualism, I've got to do one much more ceremonial magic orientated, I've got to do one which is much more demonology orientated, I've got to do one much more astral projection orientated, I've got to do one much more dream interpretation and dream telepathy type orientated. I've just got so many little things I've just got to get done. It's just going to be like a couple of hours worth of writing here, there and anywhere, whenever I can get the time, because I'm pressed for that stuff, as well as all the work I'm doing, making the videos, doing things with like solar energy and wood gas stoves and all the rest of it on my other channel, which is of course Get Me Off Grid. Okay, have a look at that one and see what's going on there. I'm a very busy man these days, so essentially, I'd love to be like the great author, but I'm not the great author. I'm a guy who's got ideas, I want to get them out there, I want to get them into print, so there's some kind of like hard copies out there that people have got. Because the New Age world has gone completely nuttily apeshit. I'm going to get on to have a look at a few private messages which have come through in just a second, but I just want to explain why the New Age world is apeshit. And I'll do that by example. I knew this one guy once, and he... typical pagan occultist, He says, "I do believe in fairies. I have seen them." How can anybody expect psi research to get off the ground if psychic individuals or people who believe that they are psychics are going to come out with a statement such as, "I believe in fairies because I have seen them"? Even if I was to see a fairy or a gnome or whatever, or a sylph or an undine today, would that mean they've got any form of objective existence? No, it would not. It would mean that there is a certain form of strange experience that you have had, which has had certain defining characteristics, and you can't say precisely what has brought it about. Apart from possibly an altered state of consciousness, meditation, some form of visualization practice, and so on and so forth. There can be other dimensions to it, but what those other dimensions are, we can't say. But it says something about us as humans, because we have the capacity to have all kinds of strange experiences. Okay? So this variety of interpretation has got to become bigger than the argument of, "I've seen a fairy, therefore fairies are real and I believe in them." If you get my drift. Because occultists are being seen as being losers because they have taken religious literalism and put it into their paganism or into whatever forms of weird shit they're in. I've got nothing against people developing their own religion, or I'm certainly in favor of religion as opposed to being anti it. But when it comes to statements which are selling a hard and fast objective fact about the way the world either is or appears to be, there's got to be a change of emphasis, and the distinction between religion and science has to be drawn. And that means in terms of your explanations and how you communicate your views and your values about stuff. This is why, out of all of the occult, weird, new age type strange people who play with Ouija boards and pendulums and do dowsing and meditation and all that kind of crazy stuff, my ideas are slightly more important than the rest. There are hypothetical benefits to psi research in terms of some improvement to human health to a certain degree. Okay, we can't say precisely how much. Also to mental health and also to human communication. Okay, these things have importance, and some of it, my personal experiences suggests, is connected to psi phenomenon. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing all the stuff that I'm doing. That's why I'm here on YouTube. That's why you're listening to me, okay? Because a new point of view has to be portrayed. You know, I can get really angry about this stuff. It's just another one of those things that I am totally, like, passionate about, I'm angry about, and all the rest of that. Okay, start with the first one. First question of today. I want to cast a spell on another person so that they see various apparitions such as ghosts or wraiths, etc. Would they need to have the prior belief that such entities exist in order for the spell to work? For example, would it be easier to affect an occultist than your typical average person? Okay, well, unfortunately, you've gone back to old ways of thinking. You've used the word work, okay, as in to suggest that there is a hard and fast objective, you know, black or white, binary result which will occur as a result of you doing your weird stuff. Okay? Naughty, 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 naughty. Okay, bad vibes. Okay? Don't think along those lines. Just see this as a strange experience which you're trying to have and you're trying to convey, as it were, telepathically. So to speak. For want of a better word. I don't know. Strange stuff happens, okay? If someone is like a real hard and fast skeptic, you know, I mean, it's not genuine skepticism, is it? When these people are being skeptical, they just really, really like against anything that they disagree with. It's almost like their whole atmosphere around them is like against whatever it is you're talking about, thinking about, or trying to do. So they're probably already very, as it were, protected against forms of attack. Unless maybe you could utilize their own suspension of disbelief. Let's say they went to see a horror film first, like Insidious, something along those lines. And whilst they were in the cinema watching Insidious, then you did your weird thing to try and attack them. Then there's a hypothetical possibility that their, you know, shields were down, possibly. That's the way it appears to be sometimes, but it's difficult to say. Either that, or you do it in the dead of the night, like about 3 or 4 in the morning, when they're asleep and therefore hypothetically more receptive. That's something to think about and take into account. Whether it will work is another issue. Whether you'll get any results from it is another issue. Whether you'll just feel a bit silly doing it, that's yet another issue, okay? But as far as trying to make someone have some form of sensory perception of something which they cannot conceive of is difficult. For instance, if someone's got one particular idea when they're reading some text, they may assume that the text is saying one particular thing when in fact it's saying something completely different. Because that's the way that humans tend to operate. Because they look at things through their own preconceptions, and that can basically everything right up. Okay, humans are not really, really good thinking creatures. Okay, we look at things through our own knowledge or perspectives or vision and so on and so forth. We look at it from our own schools of thought. So you will probably not do very well. However, it might be fun giving it a go. Speak to you in a while.